who he has a strange and extremely familiar relationship, and who also claimed the same property on grounds of a disputed will dated 30th April 2019, which a reputable document examiner has found to be forged. Sarah has repeatedly asked for fresh, thorough, and independent investigations that could even involve foreign investigative agencies. But her pleas have fallen on deaf ears during the former political establishment, as DCI Kinoti was considered a law unto himself. The IG, Mr. Kiambati, and DPP Nordin Haji became helpless bystanders to DCI Kinoti's whims and fancies. Kinoti could declare that he would arrest and charge somebody on a given day. He would even give you the date that he would meet in court, and you would actually go to court and find the person having been arrested at 4 a.m. in the morning and charged the same morning. To intimidate Sarah's defense team, DCI Kinoti demanded the arrest of myself, Philip Mulgore, on trumped-up charges, and also engaged social media bloggers to intimidate any judge who stood in his way. You all remember those blogs, or are they called memes, where they show judges and they show arrows and they tell you all sorts of stories about people. That was the stock in trade of Mr. Kinoti. Kinoti went as far as obtaining call data and messages of the defense counsel and the trial judge in order to continue to wage this campaign of terror. When you obtain call data of a defense counsel who is in communication with his client, you're obtaining privileged communication between client and advocate. Today, Mr. Kinoti has all my communications with my client. This, of course, gave him advantage, but that advantage is of no effect because it's inadmissible. It became a commonplace for judges to disqualify themselves from handling any case involving Sarah because of Kinoti's obsessive interest with Sarah and her property, which includes things like her personal car and her pet dogs. The car did not commit a crime. She has a car in the garage at her home, if it is still there. They never said they found a single trace of evidence in that car. But at that time, Kinoti and his cohorts believed she would be locked up from that day she didn't need a car. They went as far as saying that her dogs that had nothing to do with the death of Top Cohen have been in prison at KSPCA from that day till today. We only get letters from a lawyer called Omari saying keep those dogs because some lady who he presents called Gabri says so. What do the dogs have to do? All of you have a home. All of you may have pets. The pets belong to the husband and the wife. If the husband is not there, they stay with the wife. If the wife is not there, they stay with. Where did they have evidence that these dogs belong to Cohen? Anyway, with the changes in government, particularly the police force, where Kinoti has now been shown the door, it has emerged that the case against Sarah was a fabrication from the outset. There were always gross deficiencies in the evidence, and some of these highlights include and are not limited to the following. DCI Kinoti's refusal to cover 35 key areas in the investigations as directed by the DPP. DCI Kinoti's refusal to provide call data of certain persons of interest, including himself. We asked for Kinoti's call data before and after the disappearance of Cohen. He refused to provide it. DCI Kinoti refused to investigate the allegation made by her, Sarah, that the will dated 30th April was forged. He stuck with the idea that the will that disinherited her was correct. Any other will was not a valid one. The other admission is the lead investigator John Gashomo's admission that affidavits filed in his name contained false and fabricated evidence against Sarah and others. Finally, the filing of evidence in the name of Gabri Van Straten with forged signatures. All these, when you take them together, you begin to wonder what is true and what is not true. Sarah, she will do this herself, takes this opportunity to thank Nordin Haji, DPP, for having the courage to stand up to admit the decision to charge her in the first place was wrong and without justification. It takes courage. I've seen people criticize Mr. Haji for having participated in charging and then withdrawing charges. I think first those people must ask whether or not the decision in the first place was a correct one. And it takes courage to admit a mistake. He admits a mistake that was made by his office. For this, he must be commended. Going forward, Sarah would like to appeal to anyone involved in the inquest to ensure that the investigations are expanded to include everyone who was involved in manipulating and falsifying evidence, and of course, those who claim to have an interest in her co-owned matrimonial property. Every motive must be thoroughly investigated. Sarah makes an appeal to Gabri and Bernard, the siblings of Top Cohen. Sarah appeals to them to shut up. I repeat, shut up. They are shouting, they are demanding, they are talking, their manipulation of DCI Kenoti is what has led to where we are today. They should sit back, they should let independent investigators do their job. As for their claim, their obsessive claim to Sarah's co-owned matrimonial property on the basis of the disputed will, they should await determination of the matter by the High Court. While on these two individuals, or the one called Gabri in particular, the one who we all saw hugging Kenoti very, very closely at some point, and it was printed in the media, I see she has appealed to the president for her to get justice. Justice for her to get the property, or for what? If she has evidence, real evidence, not what Kenoti told her, she should come here and record better and more comprehensive witness statements. I conclude by saying Sarah would like to resume her normal life without having to look over her shoulder as a free Kenyan citizen. Sarah, for 3 years, has had to contend with people looking at her twice. Too embarrassed to ask her what they want to ask. Right now, she can breathe, she can talk, like she's just done. To those who believe in her innocence, she expresses her gratitude, and for those who have peddled lies about her, she quotes, and I'd like her to quote, bold. She has to start the presentation.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to report. It says Romans 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord.
She will say a few more things. I would like, on behalf of Sarah, to make an appeal to the DPP, IG, and the DCI. I would like, I would like to appeal on behalf of Sarah, to the DPP, IG, and DCI. The time has come. It is now. It's no longer about egos, about who wins, who doesn't win. The law is clear. Sarah was in possession of her co-owned matrimonial home by the time she was arrested by the DCI. So the law is clear. Release the property to her, together with all her contents. Release her passport. Release her pet, her surviving pet dog. Sarah is aware that the home has been completely destroyed, for which she will, of course, pursue compensation from those responsible. But for now, current IG, current DCI, the DPP nothing to prove by holding a home. Sarah has lived in several people's homes pursuant to court orders. She lives on her own now. That is not fair for a person of her age, of her standing. She has a home. Give it back to her. That's all I want to say for now. And I'll ask Sarah to say a few words, take a few questions, and we'll call it a day. Anything, for once, I will tell you not to think about being an accused or being in court. You can say anything you want. Or can we take it, ask the question? Sarah, say something.
Okay, good afternoon once more.
People don't know who Sarah is.
You're supposed to assist.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon once more. Thank you for making it over. This is not just any day, it's a celebration for me because today my freedom was pronounced, and I would want to thank God because it's been a journey. I don't think if I was to write a book about what I have gone through, I probably would do one of those trilogies you see out there. But I want to say thank you to the media because in one way or the other you've kept Sarah alive. I want to remember also my very, very special legal team led by Senior Counsel Philip Mulko. They've been there for me 24/7. If I had a question, if there was something they needed us to do, they were there for me. They still are. And I'm sure soon we'll probably be sending out Christmas cards and love letters to the various. Thank you. To my family, I don't think I would want to change them ever. I love them more. They've been there for me day and night, just making sure I'm okay, I'm well provided for. Any need that I have, they were there for me. They keep being there for me. I have friends who have become family. I had family who became enemies or friends or not so friendly. But again, a lot of people, given the scenario I was in, it was very possible for them to migrate to another area of opinion. So if they come back or don't come back, they should be at peace. I want to say life is beautiful, and I feel sad when I see what was made out of our marriage by foreigners, by strangers, by people we never thought were our friends but claim to be. Everyone who is pursuing me out there has never been like a bosom buddy for my husband. We led a very, very sheltered life. We were happy with that. I was a very protected bride, but now to be exposed to all these big bad wolves, it was a very big shock. But here we are today celebrating my acquittal, is that the word? Discharge. I will just be grateful. The verse I have read to you is something a lot of people have asked me, so what are you going to get back to those who will not be nice to you, etc., etc. And I tell them, it's tiring to deal with human beings because they will approve you one minute and disapprove you the next. So that's how fickle humanity is. But once more, I know a lot of people have gone probably through the same stuff that I had in one way or the other. I ask them to believe in the justice system. It does work. The current government is they're listening to people. You feel there's somebody out there who is listening to you. It's not just being condemned from the streets. Or they're seizing the hatred. Kenyans need to heal because everyone and every reaction you're seeing today is coming from somewhere. Is a result of something, of a cog missing somewhere. So I pray that they will continue leading the nation in a positive way. The reason why you're seeing all these mental health issues, mental hospitals coming up, analysis, etc., it is because of all those disjointed society or social areas. Let's build each other. Let's love each other. I've seen my in-laws attacking me like I did not exist. It's you cannot understand how I've known my husband since I was 23, for 30 years. And you cannot tell me that I did not exist. You can't tell me that we didn't have a life together. And we have always been the envy, especially of those two, one Habri, Van Straten, and what's his name? Bernard Cohen. So I lovingly, and as I have always been very open with them, I'll tell them to just hold their horses. If they didn't bring anything here, they should not come to me in good faith. And I wish them all the best in their lives. But thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time, even just listening to me. I hear time is the most important gift you can give to anybody. And a very Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you.
Who wants a few words in Swahili?
No, let her tell her. What's the next course of action? What do you want to do next? Are you traveling? Are you going to the US?
Travel is not in the near future because we still have a lot of work to do. So it will just be a nice, quiet Christmas. If there's a party somewhere, kindly feel free to invite me. Yes.
You have children? Where are they?
My family is very diasporad. I don't know if there's such a word. And but Christmas time, everybody comes home. So maybe there's a reunion. I don't know. But I take it a day at a time. Yeah.
You have plans for the Christmas?
Yes, I have plans to get as many village children together for an activity night at one point. I think kids are the future in this country. And if we give a good grounding to the young ones, I'm sure we have a future out there. So I'm receiving donation and everything else that goes with kids' parties. Thank you.
About the inquest on that, are you ready to participate in this?
Let me answer that question. It's a good one. The nature of inquests is that the prosecution will call the evidence that exists on the file. And also the police will continue investigating the circumstances. And then there will be no accused person, as you all know, and the evidence will be led from a neutral point of view. Sarah's options include, well, she will be represented and she will watch the way the evidence is conducted before she determines her participation. But she has always been open to fully cooperating in fresh investigations. But as to a court process, everyone has a right to participate or not to participate. But as of now, that other evidence will be called first. She will come last. So she will observe, take care of her. She'll take advice on her options. But of course, in good faith, she looks forward to that process. Yeah. Probably she will sit in the whole time. Any other questions to her?
Is she going to take revenge from anyone?
She read the Bible for you. The revenge is with the Lord.
I'm not going to steal the Lord's thunder. Let him. Yeah.
And that's a good question. But when somebody is confident enough to say, even for the death of Cohen, somebody will have to pay. She speaks with confidence when she says, God will also take care of that business. That's all. So, Cyrus, I sent you a scanned copy. You share with everyone. Unless somebody has a quick number I have, but I only have your number. So.